Alright, hello everyone. This is Ben from Trinity, your favorite trio, and we're actually here with the first installment of Tuesday Tutorials, or Tutorial Tuesday, whatever we want to call it. We'll figure that out. So, as you can see here, this guy is totally flipping out, but for this first tutorial, we're actually going to show you how to port forward. Now, this varies from router to router. I'll try to be as explanatory as I possibly can, if that makes any sense at all. I'll try to do my best to help you guys out. And yeah, and if you guys want a little bit of an in-depth explanation, at the end of this video I will explain what port forwarding exactly does. And yeah, so let's get into it. So here's my YouTube channel. So what you're going to want to do is first is you're actually going to want to type in your default gateway, which will look like this. It actually varies from router to router. This will just be the simple structure. There might be 3 digits here, there might be 2 digits. So yeah, most standard one is that. So if you guys don't know how to get your default gateway, you can either A, look on the bottom of your router, or B, type in run. You can either do this or just search CMD. As you can see, CMD will bring up the CMD, but I'll do it through run just because I know a lot of XP users out there don't have this search function. It's going to open run, just simply type in CMD, hit OK, and in here, I'll type in ipconfig. So ipconfig, hit enter, and you want to scroll back up a little bit until you find the connection. It's either going to be Ethernet adapter, local area connection, or wireless LAN adapter, one of those. It'll look something like this, and you'll see there'll be a bunch of numbers here, and you'll actually see your default gateway. That's what you're looking for. So don't close this window. You're going to need it in the future. So default gateway, that's what you're going to type in your browser right now. So you're just going to hit enter, type it in, hit enter. Now, as you can see, I haven't changed the password. This is just a router that's been laying around. I might actually do another tutorial in the future with the router that I actually use. That router is kind of not working at the moment, and I will actually take some pictures on how to do it on that router, which is basically, it's still a D-Link router, but it's running a different firmware, which I will explain later. So basically, you want to make sure you log in as the admin. Default password is just nothing. It might be admin in root, or it might be root in admin for default. Just literally look on the bottom of your router. It will tell you what your default credentials are. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look for a tab in your router settings that either look like advanced, look like network settings, or look like NAT/QoS. If you go to network settings and you don't see port forwarding, then just ignore it, go to advanced. It might also be NAT/QoS. That's what it's like on my DDWRT router. So basically, you're going to want to click the port forwarding tab. It ought to be somewhere at the top or on the side. As you can see here, I have one already set, so I'm actually just going to create a new one for you. So we're just going to set up port forwards, like for an example Minecraft server. So just name it whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. Some routers it does, some it doesn't. You can pick a list of your game from here, but this really is useless because nobody port forwards for WinMX. Xbox Live, that is useful, but so the IP address we need to find of the server computer. So let's say I have another computer in my house. Let's say I have a server computer downstairs. I want to get that IP of that computer. So you're going to want to get access to that computer and run the CMD as I showed you earlier on that computer and get the IPv4 address, which will be the address that you'll use. So for this tutorial, I'll actually just be using my laptop, which will be 192.168.0.100. So if I can focus here, 0.100. And you can also just do this, just Ben's laptop, Ben's iPhone. It's basically, you can do it that way too. Some routers have that. So basically, these are the ports right here. Most programs won't matter which one you use, but a bunch of programs will specify if you use TCP or UDP. Some of them will ask you which one you want to use. It'll say both TCP or UDP. Some it'll just present you with both and just leave one blank. But for Minecraft, we're just going to type in the default port, which is 255.65. Now, if you were to do a web server, you'd use 80, I believe. If you were to do Ventrilo, I believe it is 37. No, that's not right. 3784, yeah, it's 3784, I believe, This is what your Ventrilo server would look like. It's basically the same thing. I'll give a little bit of an explanation as to what these ports do and how they work at the end, just in case you guys are curious, because I know myself, I'm really curious. I like to know things. So we're just going to keep the default Minecraft port. If by chance you have a different port, it can actually tell you, let's say, you want a different port, because if you go into your config file, I'll show that in server setup, but if you go into the server settings file, there'll actually be a part where it says port. You can set it really to anything. I would probably look up ports that aren't used by programs, like you don't go and type in 80, because that's obviously used, and that will screw with things on someone's computer. But other than that, you're going to just type in the default ports. Make sure if there is a little box here to make sure you check it, that'll enable it, and you just save it. I already have this, so I can't save it, but you'll save it, and you'll typically wait. Let's say, let's just do this. Oh, geez. Just rename one of them. So we're just going to save it. Just change it, really random. I'm going to probably screw up my router doing this, just goofing around like that, but it's just going to save. You'll just let it wait for 15, 20 seconds. It'll do its thing. It'll restart. You might lose your internet connection. Didn't for me, but you'll just wait. And you should be alright. So basically the last step you want to do here is you actually want to check your router's IP address. If you're port forwarding, I'm going to assume you're going to use your IP address and not Hamachi. Obviously you're trying to get away from stuff like Hamachi. So the first thing you want to do is you're actually just going to type in an IP. You can type in what'smyip.com, whatismyip.com. I'm going to block my IP out for security purposes. Basically, you'll go here, see a big number here. You guys won't be able to see it, but there'll be a fairly long number. That'll be the IP address you'll give to your friends. Let's say you're using Minecraft here and you have 25565 as the port. You'll only have to type in the IP address. Let's say you have something different than 25565. Then you need to put a colon and the port that you set. So that's about it. Alright, for all you curious cats out there who actually want to know what port forwarding actually does, is basically it takes the traffic from one port to your router's IP address. So basically your house, essentially, your IP address, your main external IP address. When someone connects to that, it takes the traffic from one port, and basically, as what it sounds like it does, it forwards traffic from that port to an IP address. So let's say someone is connecting through port 80, connects to my IP address through port 80. Then, oh, this is disabled, but this shouldn't be here in the first place. Let's just pretend this whole thing isn't here. Let's just get rid of this just for purposes. So that's empty. So someone tries to connect with port 80. It won't redirect it to my laptop because there's no redirects set for the router. But basically, if someone uses the port 25565, which that is Minecraft's default port, so it's always checking for that port, basically your router will listen for this port, and as soon as an incoming connection on this port connects to your router says, hey, this needs to be, forwarded to another computer. So it'll forward the traffic from your router to your server computer or whatever computer you're hosting off of, essentially. So it's really simple, actually, if you think about it. But yeah, that's pretty much all it does. I mean, there's nothing special. I mean, that's really all it is. It's simple, just got to wrap your head around it. So yeah, that's a little extra tidbit for you guys, and thanks for watching.
I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. If you have any requests or need any help, just make sure you inbox us or leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.